Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Parama Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Sarva Gurubhyo Namaha. But just to be clear again here, I have different groups of people that I'm teaching Vaishnava ritualism to and everything like that.
Yes.
Those groups, the group that I teach Vaishnava ritualism, the minimum standard is that they have to be initiated Vaishnavas. They have to be second initiated Vaishnavas. Yeah. I don't discuss these things with bhaktas, and I don't discuss these things with people who are not qualified.
And let me just share some appreciation for you. Maybe 15 or more years ago, maybe 20 years ago, I asked you a question about this first initiated devotee couple, and somehow they got Radha Krishna deities, and your number one emphasis was, whatever it takes, they should hurry up and get second initiation.
I think I looked at those emails also in the last few days, I think, which I still keep that correspondence. I believe it had to do with also encouraging people who protect, perhaps from a different Sampradaya, also doing deity worship in ISKCON. And this has to
That was another conversation.
That was another conversation too, yeah.
Yeah, two of them.
Yeah, so these are all circumstances. There are many circumstances that they're not the normal circumstances. And so the Acharya decides. The Acharya has to decide in the case of circumstances which are not normal. He can decide what he wants to do. But many times, what Prabhupada used to do when he was installing deities, there were not enough Brahmins. He would give people Brahman initiation. He would give people second initiation because he needed more people to install the deities, to worship the deities. It's not up to me to do that.
Yes,
it's just up to me to say. It's just up to me to say that that's what it says in the scriptures, that initiated people should be worshiping deities, and non-initiated people should be trying to get initiated so they can worship deities if they want to worship deities. The thing is that I think that there's a little bit of an epidemic these days of bhaktas worshiping shalagrams, and people who are uninitiated, somehow they want to worship the deity. And this may also come about because people, number one, have some maybe misconceptions about Guru Tattva, and therefore for a long time about some aspects of Guru Tattva, don't want to go into that right now. And therefore they're a little hesitant to take initiation.
Yeah.
Some acharyas are hesitant to give initiation to people, or if they give first initiation, they're hesitant to give second initiation to people. So this all it makes it what we call a bottleneck effect. A lot of people join, and they don't know who to get initiated by. They just want to chant Hare Krishna. They also want to be able to worship deities, but they can't get initiated because of some reason. Either their guru won't initiate them, or they can't find a guru, or whatever. So this makes a bottleneck, and then people just do it. They just go to Govardhan Hill, grab a stone, and start worshiping it because that's what they've read in Prabhupada's books. So this is what happens when you have a problem. Guru Tattva is the very beginning of Hari Bhakti Vilas, first Vilas. If you get it wrong, it's the beginning of Chaitanya Charamrita, Adi Leela. If you get it wrong, then everything after that is wrong. Yeah. So this is just it's just a bottleneck effect from other problems. So if you get everything right, then everything flows nicely, and everybody will take initiation. Everybody will be qualified to do deity worship, and they'll do it they'll have that aspect covered, and they'll have their other aspects covered in proper proportion.
Do you there's the Padma Purana verse that says Sampradaya Vihina.
Excuse me.
So the other half, Bhakti True Swami used to quote regularly that says, and if that happens, then you're to get initiation again.
No. A Vaishnava Padiste. Okay, I was on the GBC committee many years ago, okay, right after 82, when there were some problems with the original gurus in ISKCON. Then the GBC empowered a committee of people, I believe Garuda, Hare Krishna Das, Gopi Puranadana. I was also on that committee to write answers to some questions by GBCs about reinitiation. At that time, reinitiation was going to be the craze. At that time, everybody was supposed to be reinitiated. That was the idea, right? Nowadays, not so much. Nowadays, not so much. Now it's like, maybe not.
No, but where my question is coming from is
the mantra comes from Hari Bhakti Vilas, I believe fourth Vilas. I can look it up for you. All right, Vaishnava Padistena Mantrena Niyamam Vrajet Punascha Vidina. I forget the last line. Okay, but it Punascha Vidina means again with proper vidi. Vidi means again you must do the ritual of initiation. If you take initiation into a mantra from a non-Vaishnava, a Vaishnava, then you must again take that initiation of that mantra.
What if they're not, this particular situation, it's not on the main topic that I wrote to you about. It's something that came up subsequently.
That's fine.
Somebody received.
Have you read my
No. Let me just say the question.
I wrote a paper on this.
Someone that I met recently said they received initiation from a line of Nityananda. And they don't know if the disciplic succession is a bona fide disciplic succession or not. And I asked,
what does that mean to you?
What does it mean to me?
Yeah.
Well, if one receives diksha not from Sampradaya, nishpala, that's what it means to me.
Okay, so what does that mean though? What is a bona fide Sampradaya?
Well, that's the bona fide Sampradaya means, I've in the past 48 hours, I read some of the references where Prabhupada speaks about it, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur speaks about it, and so there's Apa Sampradayas that may give mantra, but it's not a bona fide disciplic succession because it's Apa Sampradaya. So Nityananda Bhanksa is in that category. It's an Apa Sampradaya. So is that mantra which this person received going to give them the fruit or not? That's the question. And
okay.
If so, then
okay, this person wants to take initiation again. Is that the point?
They're not sure what's right. They
okay.
don't want.
First of all, you can take initiation into another mantra. There's no prohibition to that. When we say there can be only one Diksha mantra, Diksha Guru, there can be only one Diksha Guru for every mantra. Prabhupada took sannyas Diksha from Keshav Maharaj.
Yeah.
He took sannyas mantra from Keshav Maharaj. Keshav Maharaj is his mantra guru. He's his Diksha sannyas mantra guru.
Yes.
So he has two Diksha Gurus. He has his Bhaktisiddhanta is his Diksha Guru. And Keshav Maharaj is also his sannyas mantra Diksha Guru. If somebody wants to take initiation into another mantra, that is acceptable. But if somebody wants to take initiation into the same mantra, the example is given in Chaitanya Bhagavat. There's a story about Gadadhar, of Panchatattva, Gadadhar.
I know the story.
Yeah, and he was a disciple of Pundarik Vidyanidhi.
Yes, I know.
Right, and Pundarik Vidyanidhi had some questionable achara. He didn't appear to be a Vaishnava straight off. You know, maybe some people say he was smoking a hookah. Maybe he was living a lavish lifestyle. You know, so initially Gadadhar thought he was just a Vishayi. He was an enjoyer. He was just a karmi.
I know the history.
So then Gadadhar took initiation from him after realizing that he was a pure devotee. So he took initiation from him, but later on he approached Mahaprabhu and asked him, I forgot my mantra. Now, how anybody forgets their mantra, I don't know, but he says, I forgot my mantra. Can you tell it to me again? And Mahaprabhu said, no, you have to go back to your guru and get it. If you take the same mantra, if I get initiated into Hare Krishna mantra or whatever mantra it is from a person, from a Vaishnava, and then that person who's a Vaishnava, I go to another person and say, you know, I need that mantra again. Somebody has to initiate me in that mantra again because I don't have faith in that, in getting that mantra from that other Vaishnava. That's a guru aparad, right? That's an aparad to the guru. Prabhupada didn't do an aparad to his guru by taking sannyas mantra from Keshav Maharaj. He took a different mantra. He saw Bhaktisiddhanta in Keshav Maharaj. right? He said, Pakistan is not here, so I go to my senior god brother and I accept that mantra.
I got
So,
it. I got it.
yeah, so you know, but now if somebody has complete faith in Nityananda Vamsa, if they have faith in that parampara, if they're getting the same mantra, Nityananda Vamsa, what mantras are they giving? Probably Gopal mantra. Gopal mantra is the basic mantra of Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. It's main mantra mentioned in Hari Bhakti Vilas, the procedures from Kramadipika. So Gopal mantra, if he's receiving Gopal mantra, can he take initiation into Gopal mantra again? Then he has to decide whether he took initiation from an Avaishnava or a Vaishnava. The question is the definition of what Avaishnava means. So to me, and in context, it seems to me that a Vaishnava is very simple. A person, somebody will say, no, a fallen Vaishnava is a Vaishnava. I don't agree. There can be low, medium, high Vaishnavas. Just because somebody's a low Vaishnava doesn't mean he's not a Vaishnava. To me, that person is also a Vaishnava. In Nectar of Instruction, we say the first verse that somebody can make his disciples all over the world if he's got completely controlled senses. But there are other people also who have, Prabhupada speaks about that even a Kanistadhikari and a Madhyamadhikari might also have disciples. They might also have disciples. So what happens if somebody says, my guru is a Kanistadhikari, he gave me a mantra, but I know he's a Kanistadhikari, so I want to take that mantra again from somebody else. That's an offense. Because that person is a Vaishnava. He may be a Kanistadhikari, but he's a Vaishnava. The mantra specifically says a Vaishnava, a person who is not a Vaishnava. Now, what is the definition given in Hari Bhakti Vilas of Vaishnava? Well, who's a Vaishnava? The definition of a Vaishnava in Hari Bhakti Vilas is somebody who is initiated by another Vaishnava and who worships Lord Vishnu. So if the person is initiated by another Vaishnava, he's a Vaishnava. And if he worships Lord Vishnu, he's a Vaishnava. So somebody might say, well, that person doesn't worship Vishnu. He doesn't worship Krishna anymore. He left worshiping Krishna. Is he still considered a Vaishnava? I took initiation from him when he was a Vaishnava. Now I'm saying he's not a Vaishnava anymore? Is he a Vaishnava or isn't he a Vaishnava? That the person getting initiated has to decide. I've had many people ask me this question. Should I get initiated, reinitiated, or not reinitiated? I say to them, you have to decide. The person you took initiation from, was he a Vaishnava or was he not a Vaishnava? And there's a big problem if you start saying all these people that were authorized by the leaders of ISKCON to be gurus, somehow or other they weren't Vaishnavas. Then you have a big problem. Then people say we can't understand who is a Vaishnava, who's not a Vaishnava. Like with Pundarik Vidyanidhi.
Problem saying, but what you're saying, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, but that wasn't my question. But that's okay. It's a nice education. It's not the question.
The thing is, Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Jiva Goswami seem to also indicate that a person who's fallen from Vaishnava, they will say that a Vaishnava may mean a person who is fallen from Vaishnava behavior.
Okay.
So you have to decide. You have to decide for yourself. If you feel that the first guru is not a Vaishnava, then the scripture said, then you must take initiation again. If you feel the first person was a Vaishnava, then you must not take initiation again into the same mantra.
Even if that Vaishnava is coming in a Upasampradaya line.
Again, what does Upasampradaya mean?
Well, again, Sampradaya means taking knowledge in an unbroken manner through disciplic.
No. Okay, the word parampara means one after another. The word Sampradaya means tradition. Nityananda Vamsa is a tradition.
Okay.
You may not like that tradition.
It's an Sampradaya, but it's still a Sampradaya because it has a tradition.
Are there not Vaishnavacharyas that are accepted in ISKCON? Gaudiya Vaishnavacharyas who are accepted in ISKCON, right? Who may come in some of these things. What about Bhaktivinoda Thakur? Where was he initiated into? Nityananda Vamsa. Am I right? His guru is Bipin Bihari Goswami. I have his guru parampara. Is it, I have argued with people in ISKCON. I have friends in ISKCON who have written. I can show you a whole discussion, and the topic of discussion in the email is Bhaktivinoda has a dead mantra. That's the topic. Do you agree or not?
Because it came from Nityananda Vamsa.
Exactly.
Okay, that's on topic like anything.
That's on topic like anything. I've already had this discussion. If you say Bhaktivinoda Thakur, if you say that he is initiated in an upper sampradaya, in a Sahaja sampradaya or something like that, if you say that his initiation is not correct, then where's your parampara? You have somebody in your parampara who is not a bona fide. Does that make your parampara bona fide? See, it's a can of worms when you start opening it.
Yeah, no, this is helpful. This I very helpful without going into detail.
Also, let me just say something. I've talked to many people about this point before. If you start looking, so don't get me wrong, I'm an equal opportunity offender here. Okay, okay. So I can, if you want me to point out defects in any parampara, Sri Vaishnava, Madhva, Gaudiya, whatever, I can show you. If you want to find defects in a parampara, you can find them. Okay, you can find defects in any parampara you like. If you have faith in that parampara, then you follow it. But the point, even this whole look. Number one, Sampradaya Vihinam ye mantras te bipalamataha. That quote, those whole set of quotes cannot be found in any prominent edition. Cannot be found in any printed edition or any manuscript edition that I know of Padma Purana.
Really?
Show me. I did the Matsya project. I microfilmed 1.5 million manuscript pages of Vaishnava literature in India in 1980s to 83.
It's not there.
There's a lot. I didn't say it's not there. I said I never saw it. So okay. when somebody quotes something, they say, normally when somebody quotes something to me, I go and I get the book and I look it up and it's there. If it's not there, I say, hey, it's not there. And then they say, oh, you need another edition. Just recently, Tripurari said to me, look at this, it's said in Gopaltapani Upanishad. I said, not in my version. And he said, well, it's in Jagadananda's version. Then I had to look into it and said, okay, there's a different reading. There's a printed book in North India that says this, and the critical edition, which I'm using from the Arjo library, says something else. So I said, your point is accepted according to your reading. But I don't see it in my reading, my critical edition. So once again, that this is why Shastra Pramana. So this whole thing, but let me also say, let's say that we have a Padma Purana with those verses in it, right? What does the verse say? The verse says all these sampradayas arose from Purushottama. They arose from Puri. Did the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya arise from Puri? Sorry, didn't arise from Puri, right? The state, if one statement in the Pramana is incorrect, why should we accept the other statements?
Yeah, that's the other half of that verse.
Right. So the thing is, there's this whole theory of Chari Sampradaya. There are 4 bona fide Sampradayas. Even though the Sampradayas have perhaps radically different doctrines on different philosophies, right? Even though you've got, plus you've got Gaudiya Sampradaya that says we're Brahma Madhva Gaudiyas. First of all, Madhvas don't start their Sampradaya with Brahma. Second of all, the Madhvas preach Dvaita. They don't preach Achinta Bheda Bheda Tattva, right? You get this all the time. Devotees go to Udupi and they try to tell the Madhvas they're better Madhvas than them, that they don't know what Madhva said, that Achinta Bheda Bheda Tattva is the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes to Udupi and he argues with them and says, I don't see anything good about your Sampradaya except that you accept the deity. And he says, your Sampradaya. He doesn't say, you have messed up our Sampradaya. He says, I don't accept your Sampradaya. And historically, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there in South India during the lifetime of his great-great-great-grand guru, How is that? If in the Madhva Sampradaya, there's actually no initiation. There's no initiation like there is in Sri Vaishnavism, Nimbarka, and in Gaudiya. We have initiation. We have Vaishnava initiation. They are Varnashramis. Their only initiation is the father gives the son Gayatri mantra. That's Upanayanam. People take sannyas. That's their initiations. They're Varnashramis. Okay, they can give, sometimes they give mantras to people, right? That's fine. They call it mantra upadesh. But there's no initiation. There's no pancha samskara. There's no tapa pundra tatonama mantra yagasta panchamaha in Madhva. There isn't, right? So if they have no Vaishnava initiation, then, and a person who's a sannyasi gives only sannyas to another person. In Madhva Sampradaya, the sannyasis, they took initiation from Ananda Tirtha. They're Tirthas. They give initiation to a guy. The next person will be a Tirtha. They initiate one person only to take over their mud. That's it. Like that. So, and that person who is their junior Swami can give sannyas to somebody else only after the senior Swami dies. If the great grand guru of Chaitanya was still alive even after Chaitanya left this planet, how could there be a Guru Parampara coming from that person? Historically not possible.
What to speak of?
So that look, pick any parampara, I'll tell you the problems with it, okay? So if you want to criticize a parampara, it's easy. But if you have faith in that parampara, if you have faith in the persons of that parampara, you follow it like that. So getting back to Gaudiya, there's many different branches of Gaudiya Sampradaya. Most of them, the traditional ones come from the parivaras, right? Of the Panchatattva and the different parivaras, right? And then the non-traditional ones, like Gaudiya Math, have non-traditional paramparas. The parampara of Bhakti Vinod is a Diksha parampara. It's a seminal Diksha parampara, something which Bhaktisiddhanta and Prabhupada didn't like, right? And goes down through Lalit Prasad to some other people, whatever it is. The parampara of Bhaktisiddhanta is called Bhagavat parampara by the Gaudiya Math because it's supposed to be somewhat, it's like a Shiksha Diksha hybrid. It's like a Shiksha Diksha hybrid, right?
Yes.
Everybody's not initiated by everybody else. Everybody didn't even maybe meet everybody else, but everybody's following the same philosophy, right? Everybody's following the same Shiksha. It's a Shiksha parampara, right? Until you get to Lord Chaitanya. Before Lord Chaitanya, it's a bunch of madhvas. You can't say it's a Shiksha parampara back before that. So there's a lot of people have tried to prove the connection between Madhva and Gaudiya Sampradaya. Why? Because of this one verse that Baldev pulls out of the air and says, there's 4 bona fide Sampradayas only, and you have to belong to one of them to be bona fide. But if we throw that out the window and say, we don't care about that because there's so many problems with that, then there can be many paramparas. And this is the actual fact in India. When people go to India, there are many paramparas. And we have to judge each parampara by the teachings and by the people who are teaching it. That's all. So we can understand the purity of the parampara by the effect that the people who are preaching the philosophy of that parampara and how they are living that teachings, we can understand by Palena Parishiyate. That's all. So we can see by ISKCON the effect of ISKCON. We can see the effect of the Gaudiya Math. So therefore, we have to accept that they have some potency. If we accept that only the Diksha Parampara has potency, then how would ISKCON have so much potency? How did the Gaudiya Math have so much potency? How did Prabhupada and Bhaktisiddhanta and Bhaktivinoda, how did they have so much potency if only Diksha Parampara is true? No. And Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita gives the definition of parampara. He says, when is a parampara broken? He says, when that knowledge was broken, it had to be respoken. I spoke to the sun god spoke to, right? And after some time, it was broken. It's the knowledge which is important in the Bhagavad Gita. In the Bhagavad Gita definition of Guru Parampara, it's the knowledge which is handed down. So that knowledge can be handed down by a book. I write a book and I give it to somebody, or I put it in a library and 100 years later, somebody reads that book. He's in my parampara, my Shiksha parampara. So that's more important. That is more important than Diksha parampara.
you've over answered my question, and your time is now 8:30 in the morning,
Correct.
and my time is 1:30 in the afternoon.
Okay.
And I'm going to have to excuse myself because I have some other obligations.
Yeah.
But
You know, the whole thing, I wasn't expecting this whole thing about, you know, about Guru Parampara, but specifically we can talk about different Guru Paramparas. If there's a specific question about a specific Guru Parampara.
No, you've answered my question. You've answered my question.
Okay.
Specific to this person in this situation, and then beyond that. I'm happy. It's nice to be of happy, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, you know, this is, look, everything I've said is my opinion. And if you watch this again and you see anything that I'm saying, if you say, oh, I don't feel confident of what he's saying there, or I don't accept that, or maybe he has some Shastra quote to explain that, just ask and I'll give you the Shastra behind it. Yeah. Okay. This whole discussion about 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas are the only ones. You know, is Gaudiya a 5th Sampradaya? My personal opinion is Gaudiya is a Gupta Sampradaya, just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a Gupta avatar. He's a hidden avatar. He's a secret avatar. And that's fantastic. And he has a secret parampara. And therefore you can accept the 4 Vaishnava Sampradaya thing. And you can also accept Chaitanya has his own Sampradaya. And you can also accept the Chinta Beta Beta Tattva is bona fide because he can have his own thing because he's a Gupta avatar. He has a special case. So I think that's the best way out of it because, you know, so many people down through the ages, I've seen so many people trying to prove that they're Madhvas. Look, you are either really bad Madhvas, right? Or the Madhvas are totally off and they don't know what Madhvacharya said. And some of my best friends are Madhvas, excuse me, in South India. I've known Madhvas. I know all the big, B.N.K. Sharma, I knew B.N.K. Sharma. He was a great friend of ISKCON. He loved Prabhupada, right? Banaji Govindacharya, Pejwa Swami, all these people love ISKCON, okay? At the same time, if you ask them, are they Madhvas? Are they Madhvas? They're not Madhvas. They don't accept us as Madhvas. We're not Madhvas. We should stop trying to be bad Madhvas. We should just try to be good Gaudiyas.
Okay, I've got to excuse myself. You're very enthusiastic and very helpful, very kind.
Yeah, no, once again, anything that I've said, anybody who hears this, anything that I said, right? If you question it, if I'm wrong or in any case, I beg my forgiveness. I beg your forgiveness. And please send me the question. I will, I can back up what I say from history, from scripture, from whatever you like. If you still have faith in some other opinion, that's fine, and I have no problem with that. You're still a Vaishnava, and great, no problem.
Okay. I'll tap you on the shoulder if I'm uncomfortable. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for all your time. You can see why I didn't want to answer this in an email. Yeah.
Yeah. Haribol.
Haribol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.